Hey guys, I'm Mark from Portion of Sport and welcome to Game Week 20 of the Premier League review. If you are new to this series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here is a list of the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Monday the 2nd, Tuesday the 3rd and Wednesday the 4th of January. Next to the games are the times in this video. If you want to hear about a specific match, just go to the time next to the fixture and you'll skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. And we start with West Brom versus Hull. Hull deservedly took the lead in this one 21 minutes into the match when their main man Robert Snodgrass got the goal. It came when Ahmed El Mohammadi crosses the ball and it looks like no one is going to get there. The ball bounces about 10 yards out away from goal, but out of nowhere was the sliding Snodgrass and he directs the ball into the back of the net. But West Brom would equalise 5 minutes into the second half when Matt Phillips whipped a corner in deep into the Hull box, and at the back post was Chris Brunt completely unmarked, and he powered the ball home with a standing header and put the Baggies level. And West Brom would take the lead 15 minutes later when Gareth McCauley put them ahead. It came from another corner that Matt Phillips put in the box, and the in-running Gareth McCauley leaped for the header. His header was blocked on the line by Sam Clucas, or so we thought. Goal line technology came into fruition as referee Mark Clattenburg's watch goes off and the goal was given as West Brom took the lead. And West Brom would put the game to bed 10 minutes later when they added their third and James Morrison got on the score sheet. It came when Hal Robson-Kanu had the ball on the left. He then cut inside his man, crossed the ball to Solomon Rondon who heads the ball into the path of Morrison, and he put the ball into the net with his left foot from about 10 yards out. And that is how the game would end, a well-deserved win for West Brom as they were dominant in the second half. This game was the definition of a game of two halves, as in the first half, it was the complete opposite as Hull were all over West Brom. But like I said, in the second half, West Brom were ruthless. And with this result, it continues Hull's mediocre result recently, and West Brom have back-to-back wins for only the second time this season. And we move on to Everton versus Southampton. The game was pretty much dead in the first half. All that happened throughout the majority of this match was Everton put the pressure on, but they couldn't make anything out of it. But they would take the lead in the 73rd minute when their on-loan striker Enner Valencia got the goal. It came when Romelu Lukaku heads the ball towards goal, however it was saved by Fraser Forster, but the ball wasn't cleared far enough and it fell to Valencia, who converted from close range. And 10 minutes later, Everton would have the perfect chance to double their lead when they were given a penalty. It came when the goal scorer Enner Valencia makes a nuisance of himself and was pushed to the floor by Maya Yoshida. Leighton Baines stepped up to take the spot kick as he sent Forster the wrong way and put the ball into the net from 12 yards out. And Everton would put the game beyond any doubt in the 88th minute when they got their third through their big striker Romelu Lukaku. It came when Tom Davies picked out Lukaku on the edge of the Southampton box and he smashed the shot into the top corner and he gave Fraser Forster no chance of stopping it. And that's how the game would end. Everton deserved winners in the end as they looked comfortable throughout all of the match. Southampton really didn't put any pressure on the blue side of Merseyside at all. But with this result, it put Everton back into winning ways following their draw with Hull, and Southampton have now lost 3 Premier League games in a row. And we move on to Bournemouth versus Arsenal. The first goal in this game would go to Bournemouth and it came in the 16th minute when their left back Charlie Daniels got the goal. It came when Junior Stanislas switches the play and Daniels controls the ball, cuts inside Hector Bellerin and then beat Petr Cech at his near post. And 5 minutes later, Bournemouth would get the perfect chance to double their lead when they were given a penalty. It came when Ryan Fraser worked his way into the box and he was clipped by Granit Xhaka and the referee pointed to the spot. Callum Wilson stepped up to take it and he confidently side-footed the ball down the middle, but Petr Cech dived so the ball rolled into the net. Bournemouth would look to put the game to bed in the 58th minute when they tripled their lead through Ryan Fraser. It came when Hector Bellerin had the ball on the left and Ryan Fraser outmuscled him and stole the ball. He then made his way towards the Arsenal goal and he calmly put the ball through the legs of Petr Cech and into the net. But Arsenal would not go down lightly as in the 70th minute Alexis Sanchez got them back into it. It came when a cross is put into the box and Olivier Giroud nodded the ball onto the head of the Chilean who headed home. And 5 minutes later Arsenal would add another one to their potential comeback when their summer signing Lucas Perez got his first Premier League goal. It came when yet again the ball is flicked on by Olivier Giroud and on the end of it this time was Perez who volleyed the ball across goal and into the back of the net. And the nerves of Bournemouth fans were doubled as they would have to survive the last 10 minutes with 10 men. It came when Bournemouth captain Simon Francis came in a bit late on Aaron Ramsey and the referee pulled out the card and it was a straight red. And Arsenal would complete the comeback of dreams as in the 90th minute the man that assisted the other 2 goals got himself one when Olivier Giroud equalised the scoring. It came when Granit Xhaka played in a cross and it was falling behind the Frenchman, and for a minute I thought he was going for another scorpion kick, but no, he was able to twist his body and managed to head the ball home as Arsenal's comeback was complete. And that's how the game would end. Round of applause for both teams. This was a great match. Bournemouth played well to even go 3-0 up in the first place, and Arsenal did well to get back into the game when all Arsenal fans thought that hope was lost. But with this result, it kept Bournemouth 9th and dropped Arsenal down to 4th because of the Manchester City result, and with Tottenham still to play on Wednesday. And we move on to Manchester City versus Burnley. Manchester City were all over Burnley in the first half, but they couldn't find a way through due to a terrific first half performance by Burnley keeper Tom Heaton. It may also help that they didn't start Aguero and they went with the young Kelechi Iheanacho up top. But the first bit of action we're talking about in this game came in the 30th minute when Manchester City captain Fernandinho got sent off. It came when the Brazilian 2-foot dived at Johan Berg Gudmundsson and he got to go home early. And yes, definite red card. He scissor tackled Gudmundsson's ankle. Gudmundsson is extremely lucky not to have a broken ankle, for God's sake. Clear red card. Manchester City fans disagreed as they were booing throughout the rest of the match, really. Can't argue with it. Move on. But 10 men Manchester City would take the lead in the 58th minute through their left back Gael Clichy of all people. It came when Bakary Sagna's cross is headed out by Michael Keane only as far as Clichy, who works himself into some space and smashes the ball into the far corner from just inside the penalty area. And Manchester City would double their lead 5 minutes later when their substitute Sergio Aguero got the goal. It came when Raheem Sterling's shot is saved by Tom Heaton and the loose ball is picked up by Aguero, who put the ball in from an incredibly tight angle via a little deflection off of the shoulder of Matt Lawton. The ball was on target, so the deflection didn't matter. Argentine was given the goal. But Burnley wouldn't go down quietly, as in the 70th minute they got a goal back. It came when a corner is whipped in and the man that is disguised as the goalkeeper, Claudio Bravo, flaps at the ball and it turns into a goalmouth scramble. The ball falls to Ben Mee, whose shot smashes the underside of the crossbar and it appears to bounce over the line. Claudio Bravo catches the ball, but Andrew Gray heads the ball out of his hands over the goal line just to make sure. But the goal was eventually given to Ben Mee for his shot off of the bar. And that's how the game would end. A bit of a harsh result on Burnley, as their keeper Tom Heaton had a wonderful first half, pulling off save after save. And I think personally they should have came away with a point, but Manchester City did what they had to do. They left the Etihad with all 3 points. And we move on to Sunderland versus Liverpool. Liverpool deservedly took the lead in the 90th minute when a corner is whipped into the box from Roberto Firmino. The corner is met by a volley from Dejan Lovren. The volley's a bit poor as it was hit low and the ball bounces up, and Daniel Sturridge showed great reactions and jumped to head the ball and flicked it past Sunderland keeper Vito Manone. But Sunderland would have the perfect chance to equalise 5 minutes later when Didier Ndong works his way into the box and he is brought down by Ragnar Klavan and the referee pointed to the spot. Jermaine Defoe stepped up to take it and his penalty is pretty much perfect as he goes left and puts it into the side netting to beat Simon Mignolet, who also went left. But Liverpool would retake the lead in the 72nd minute when Sadio Mane got on the score sheet. It came when a corner again is whipped in and it took a deflection off of Didier Ndong. The ball is going towards his goal and in the right place at the right time was Sadio Mane, who tapped into the net. A lot of Sunderland players were saying that the Mane was offside, but at the time they can't have known that it came off of Didier Ndong, and as you know, you can't be offside if the ball comes off of your opponent. But would you believe it, in the 84th minute Sunderland would have another penalty. This one came when a free kick from Seb Larsson is struck into the Liverpool wall. It looks like Sadio Mane was pushed and he was losing his balance, so he had his arms out to try and balance himself and the ball struck his arm and the referee pointed to the spot. Bit of a harsh one, but his arms were out, so it was rightly given. Jermaine Defoe stepped up and this time he sent Mignolet the wrong way and he smashed the ball into the opposite corner. And that's how the game would end. Fair play to Sunderland, because if you remember last time these two teams met, Sunderland pretty much parked the bus from the get-go. But this time they attacked and they deservedly took a point. 2 points dropped for Liverpool, massive point picked up by Sunderland. And we move on to Tottenham versus Chelsea. This game was wide open for almost the entire first half. Either team could have scored in this one, but it was Tottenham who took the lead just before half time. It came when Christian Eriksen put a cross into the Chelsea box, and on the end of it was Dele Alli, who got between Cesar Azpilicueta and Victor Moses to put a header past Thibaut Courtois. And Tottenham would double their lead 10 minutes later into the second half, and it was almost a carbon copy of the first goal. Yet again, Christian Eriksen put a cross into the box. Yet again, Dele Alli got on the end of it. Yet again, Dele Alli got between Azpilicueta and Moses, and yet again, Ali put the header past Thibaut Courtois. And that's how the game would end. A big big result at the top of the table after a lot of the top 5 teams dropped points. This result has put the title race wide open yet again, and the 13-match winning streak from Chelsea comes to an end, and they are unable to beat the invincible record from that Arsenal season 16 years ago. But Tottenham deserved all 3 points at the end as they outclassed their opponents, and with this result it still keeps Chelsea top. However, their lead has dropped to 5 points and Tottenham shoot up to 3rd. And we move on to Crystal Palace versus Swansea. After appointing their new manager Paul Clement earlier on in the day, Swansea were looking to start on the strong foot with their new manager on Tuesday. And in the first half of this one they were dominant, about 70% possession of the ball, and they deservedly took the lead just before the half-time break. It came when Gylfi Sigurdsson put the free kick into the Crystal Palace box, and on the end of it was Alfie Mawson to head home for his first Premier League goal. But after this, Crystal Palace came out of their shell. They got back into the game and they dominated most of the ball in the second half. But the game would kind of die a bit until the 83rd minute when Crystal Palace equalised through Wilfried Zaha. And what a goal this was. It came when Martin Kelly played a cross into the box, and on the end of it was Wilfried Zaha with a stunning volley, almost like a scissor kick type goal, and the ball flew into the net. I'll tell you what, we've had some cracking goals recently in the Premier League, Jesus. But Swansea would retake the lead and snatch all 3 points in the 88th minute when their right back Angel Rangel got the winner. It came when the right back took on a striker position for a minute and he got on the end of a Leroy Fer pass, and he then hit the ball low past Wayne Hennessy. And that's how the game would end. A big win for Swansea. Maybe with a new manager they could string together some results, and by God they desperately need it. But with this result it lifted Swansea off of the bottom of the Premier League table, and Crystal Palace are still hovering above the relegation zone in 17th. And we move on to Stoke versus Watford. What a terrible first half. You know what? I've seen League 2 football that was better than this. Passing was awful. In front of goal, it was trash as well. But Stoke would take the lead in this one in the 45th minute when Charlie Adams put a corner at the near post. And on the end of it was Ryan Shawcross who stuck the ball in the net with a left-footed volley. And Stoke would double their lead 5 minutes into the second half through their giant striker Peter Crouch. It came yet again. Charlie Adams put a cross into the box, and Watford defender Sebastian Prodl should really be clearing it, but he completely misses the ball, and the ball bounces off of Crouchy's thigh. I'm not too sure. But either way, it hit Peter Crouch somewhere, and the ball went into the net. And that's how the game would end. It's looking more and more worrying for Watford. After getting off to a flyer of a start earlier this season, their momentum has plummeted as they have picked up only 4 points from their last 24. But Stoke are back into winning ways after their defeat last week to Chelsea, and this result lifted them up to 11th and dropped Watford down to 14th. And we move on to West Ham versus scumbags Manchester United. I hate Manchester United. I hate Manchester United. I hate Manchester United. You're probably thinking, Mark, what have they done now? It's not what they do, it's what the referees do at United's games. They fucking pressure the ref into giving decisions. Why do you think Mourinho always goes, the referees are against us, they give nothing to us because we are a big team, we are very unlucky. And yes, I know that sounded like Arsene Wenger, but shut up. They have pressured the referee so much that they feel like everything needs to go United's way, and they're scumbags. Perfect example, 15 minutes into this match, West Ham player Sofian Feghouli sent off for a 50-50 tackle. It was a 50-50 tackle, for Christ's sake. He slid in on Phil Jones, barely a yellow, but the Algerian was sent off. Bullshit. I hate Manchester United. Again, I'm going to compare it to Marcos Rojo's tackles. If Marcos Rojo's tackles wasn't a red, this wasn't even a foul. Bullshit. Manchester United scored in the 62nd minute when Juan Mata got past his defenders and put the ball into the net. Zlatan Ibrahimovic also scored when the ball dropped nicely for him and he smashed the ball into the net. I don't care. I don't know why I even waste my fucking breath on this dog shit club. Everything about this club is cancer. The manager, the players, the fucking fans. Oh yeah, we're the best team ever. Liverpool fans only speak about the past, but let's bring up the past to them because we're allowed. Shut the fuck up. And finally, we've got Middlesbrough versus Leicester. This game was extremely dull. No real chances for either team. I guess if I had to pick one team that I think deserved to win, I'd say Borough, only just. They had more of the ball, but they couldn't make anything of their chances, and Leicester, they just didn't seem up for it. A 0-0 result is probably a fair assessment. So that's all the fixtures I've got for you this time. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers. Starting off with the Premier League table. Starting with the top 5, and as you can see, Chelsea are still top. However, with their loss to Tottenham, their 6-point lead has been reduced to a 5-point lead. Liverpool are second, slowly closing the gap on Chelsea with a point at Sunderland. Tottenham are third after their win at Chelsea. Manchester City are fourth after beating Burnley, and Arsenal are fifth after grabbing a point in that 6-goal thriller at Bournemouth. Moving on to the bottom 5, and as you can see, Hull City dropped to the bottom of the table following their defeat at West Brom, and after this result, they've actually sacked their manager, Mike Phelan. Swansea move up to 19th after grabbing a big win against Crystal Palace. Sunderland are 18th after snatching a point from Liverpool. Crystal Palace are 17th after being on the losing end of the match against Swansea, and Middlesbrough make up the bottom 5 after their ball draw with Leicester. Moving on to top goal scorers, and as you can see, Diego Costa is still on top despite not getting on the score sheet in his team's defeat to Tottenham. Alexis Sanchez is second after getting a goal against Bournemouth. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is third after scoring at the London Stadium. Romelu Lukaku is fourth, adding a goal to his tally this week against Southampton. And Jermaine Defoe comes into the top 5 after taking his tally into double figures with his 2 goals against Liverpool. Right, so that's all I've got for you this time. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back on Tuesday the 17th of January for the next episode of the Premier League Review. But until then, if you want to keep up to date with us, you can follow the Portion of Sport Twitter account, where we will be tweeting about certain Premier League matches and wrestling shows. So if you want to follow us, that link is in the description, or it's at portionofsport_. Also in the description is the link to my personal Twitter and YouTube channel, so if you want to check me out, click on them. On my YouTube channel should be popping into your screen about now, so you can click that if you want, I guess. But anyway, I've been Mark from Portion of Sport, and I'll see you soon.